My very first memory of actually being on a range, I was probably 2 or 3. And I had great big earmuffs on. They were bigger in my head. Dad was shooting, I want to say an M1 or something like that. And he shot brass ejected from the rifle, landed on the ground, and I thought, hey, I'll go pick that up. And I burned my hand on the cartridge case.
If I had open spaces on the firing line, Webb would come down to shoot with the midshipman. And midshipman, 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 Webb, midshipman, midshipman. A lot of people think I taught him how to shoot. That's not true. The mids taught him how to shoot. We had a little rifle we built for him, and he would shoot along with these guys. Yeah, sure, I taught the mids how to shoot, or at least trimmed them up a little bit, but they worked on Webb.
With Dad's involvement in shooting and just his experience at Annapolis, I don't remember ever not being involved in it, really. From the time I was 5, I was around a range. I was around, our family vacation was going to rifle matches, going to, at the time, the Nationals and U.S. team tryouts were Phoenix, Arizona. Camp Perry, Ohio was a big national competition, so that's just what we did. And I was just always around shooting and Olympic champions and world champions, and I just thought that was the thing.
The first time we put him in a prone position, we had built this little rifle for him. And he got strapped up in the sling and he sat down on the mat, and I said, okay, get in what you think is a prone position. He was 8 maybe. He rolls over on his left side, pulls his right leg up, and he looks like everybody else that had ever won the Olympics. I said, how did you know that? He looks up at me and says, isn't that what you're supposed to do? And then it hit me. He'd never seen anybody but Olympic champions, world champions, and the midshipmen shoot. So almost from day one, he knew what he had to do and what he was doing.
West Virginia, because at the time, that shooting program was the best in the country. The coach was Olympic gold medals from '84, Dr. Ed Edsel. He's a sports psychologist, and that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be around the other top shooters and just be in that environment, that program, because it was so good.
I watched when he made the Olympics. There were 3 tryouts, and then there was a 4th tryout a few days later. And during that interim, his grandmother died. And I told him that, and I also told him that she wanted him to stay and complete the tryout. I went back for the funeral. I came back. He completed the tryout. He won the tryout. I remember there was a telephone on the range, the old payphone days before cell phones. I went to the payphone, I called his mother and told him he won, and I was crying for about an hour after that.
Making the Olympic team is, certainly overwhelming experience. Being around all the other athletes, I would go down to the dormitory lobby, and I was hanging out with David Robinson, who was on the basketball team at the time. Carl Lewis, right there. Bailey Thompson from the British team, he was the decathlon winner. Just go have a conversation with these larger-than-life sports figures at the time.
Of course, in West Virginia, he established a record that I think probably nobody else ever did. 4 times All-American, going to the Olympics, on and on and on. I think 2 or 3 times he was the national champion collegiate. So after that, he went to the marksmanship unit for a while and continued shooting.
The Army was just the right choice. I'd shot through college. I knew I wanted to shoot after college. There are 2 alternatives there. You go out to be a resident athlete at the Olympic Training Center, or you go to the Army Marksmanship Unit and you train and shoot for the Army team, publicize the Army. So that's the track I took. I went into ROTC to West Virginia, knowing that I wanted to eventually end up at Fort Benning and shoot for the Army team. I went 26 years Army career, and right as that was coming to an end, started thinking about what was going to happen next. Decision was made, time to move on, and then I had about a year to transition out of the Army. Right about that time, the job opened up, and I was asked to interview for the job, and I did, and I got it, and it was seamless. My last duty assignment was here at West Point, so we basically moved down the hill.
He knows what he's doing, and he can take all of this information that he's gathered in all these years and put it to good use for the future.